This is the number one most important rule when it comes to Hermes, that if you'd like to build a long-term relationship with the brand and you'd like to get your hands on bags one day, hello my friends, it's time for another Hermes Q&A where I go over some of your questions and I try to answer them based on my experience, my thoughts, and everything that I picked up along the way of enjoying and admiring Hermes pieces. And I asked you over on my Instagram a couple of days ago if there are any topics that you'd like me to touch on, and I expected maybe a handful of responses, all of which I would have been so incredibly grateful for, but I got pages and pages and pages of questions, so big thank you to you all, and I tried to keep it concise today just so we can get to as many of them as possible. But some of the big topics that stood out to me that I know we'll be touching on today are going to be the price difference between certain types of leathers, color recommendations and which color to match with which hardware, and how and should you build a relationship with an Hermes store, or should you build multiple relationships with multiple stores if you're hoping to get your hands on your dream bag, be it a Birkin or a Kelly. But without further ado, if you'd like to hear my 2 cents and chat about everything Hermes, then please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and keep on watching. Let's jump straight in. And the first question is price difference between Epsom and box, which is the perfect question to kick things off because box is still quite fresh on my mind. I just picked up my dream Constance in box leather, even though I was looking for it in Epsom. And as I said in that video of mine, the price difference between heritage and regular skins can be quite drastic depending on which two skins you're comparing. Heritage skins are always going to be more expensive than regular skins, and the jump from Epsom to box is quite big. Depending on which piece you're looking at, it can range anywhere between a couple thousand to a few $1,000s. But just to give you an exact example, my Constance in box was just around 2,000 euros more expensive than it would have been in Epsom. Your thoughts on the Hermes sale, which is a great question because I think most people would say that if you're into Hermes, you must go to one of their sales. And I agree, it's a great experience. But if you only really care for their leather goods and their bags, I'm not sure if sales would be the best use of your time and your budget, because you'd get in and I think you'd be disappointed that they really don't have too much to offer when it comes to bags and leather goods. But if you enjoy their aesthetic and what they have to offer when it comes to ready to wear, silk and shoes, I think you'd find some incredible pieces for an absolute steal. So if you genuinely enjoy Hermes' aesthetic, not only when it comes to their bags, but everything else across the board, sales are a great place to be. But if you're only really interested in getting your hands on a couple of their bags and that's it, I don't know if sales are just the best use of your time. How many years have you been collecting Hermes pieces? Which is an interesting question because I've known of Hermes for a really long time. I think probably over 20 years because my dad absolutely loves Hermes dies, and I used to go to Hermes boutiques with him to pick up dies, but I don't think I purchased my first Hermes piece until maybe freshman year of college. I think maybe before or during freshman year of college was my first Hermes purchase. So I would say maybe 10 years I've been buying pieces for myself, but I have loved and known of the brand a lot longer than that. Do you think Hermes will follow a Chanel style price increase? Why and why not? So I have no doubt that Hermes will have a price adjustment, as they call it, at the beginning of next year, as they pretty much always do. Some pieces will increase in price and select pieces will go down in price just a tiny bit, But let's be honest, the pieces that most of us are interested in are probably going to be increased by a few percent. Do I think that they're going to go as crazy as Chanel did? I don't think so at this point, just because Hermes has nothing to prove, but they always have a slight price adjustment each year, and I have no doubt that it's going to take place at the beginning of next year. Is the quota really the same for everyone? And the answer is yes. You can purchase 2 bags from Hermes each year when it comes to Birkins, Kellys, and certain styles in exotic skins that will also be considered a quota bag. But it doesn't matter who you are and how much you spend. The quota system applies to you. You can only buy 2 bags each year. And the only loophole around this system is really getting an a la carte bag if your a la carte bag arrives. Most stores will let you take it regardless of how many bags you have purchased throughout the year. So if you really want to get a third or fourth bag, try to get your hands on an a la carte offer. What do you think of the Calicut clutch? Love your videos. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you watching. But I have to say that the Calicut clutch, I'm not a big fan of. I recently talked about the Calicut clutch, so if you're interested in a more extensive review, make sure to have a video linked up here for you. But long story short, I'm not a fan of the Calicut clutch. The proportions are just so strange to me that it kind of reminds me of a bag a clown would carry, because of these over exaggerated proportions, or it almost looks like a case for an instrument, as I said in my original review. There's just something strange about how slim yet long that bag is. I don't think it's the most flattering shape. If you like it, it is worth the money. But in my opinion, you'd be much better off putting a Kelly Depeche or a Kelly Pochette on your wish list. Is it true that you have to graduate with Hermes leathers? Ordinary, then ostrich, then croc? Nope, that is absolutely not true. You can buy any of these leathers in any order that you want. And I find that if you have a decent purchase history and a good relationship with the brand, you'll actually find it much easier for you to get your hands on a croc or an alligator bag than an ostrich or a bag in regular skin. Just because you're competing against much fewer people, there aren't that many people out there who are perfectly happy to spend pretty much the price of a car and a bag, as there are who are willing to spend a fraction of that, around $10,000. So if you have a good relationship with the brand, you don't have to go through these stages of buying a regular bag, a bag in ostrich, then lizard, then alligator. You can go in any order you want, and I think in my experience it's going to be much easier for you to be offered a bag in alligator or even croc than it would be to get a bag in regular skin. Are you supposed to only shop with one SA? And yes, this is the number one most important rule when it comes to Hermes, that if you'd like to build a long-term relationship with the brand and you'd like to get your hands on bags one day, make sure that you don't shop around. You stay loyal to one store and one person that you click with, which at the beginning might be quite difficult to find a person that you get each other with, that you're on the same page with. But once you do, I have no doubt that Hermes will become one of your favorite brands. And this is one of the most important things for you to do, is that you stay loyal to one store and one person that you get each other with, because Hermes is all about family values and building long-term relationships. So I would say that if you can, make sure that you stick with the person and the store that you enjoy working with the most. How do you display your constants? What do I do with the strap? Personally, I would just double the strap and let it do its thing. Obviously, if you ask Hermes, they will tell you to store all your bags in their boxes, in their dust bags, laid on their back, which I personally like to do. But I understand that if you appreciate your pieces and you like looking at them, you might want to have them on your shelf. In which case, I would just double the strap and then let it hang out on the top of the bag. I wouldn't bend it, I wouldn't try to push it down or do anything with it. You do need a little bit of space to store constants. But personally, that is what I do and what I would recommend that you do too. I have seen some resellers online fold up the strap really small and then use the Hermes ribbon to tie them down, which you could also try. I'm not sure how that would affect the strap long term. I would just say do as Hermes does in their stores. Try to find a space on your shelf where it has enough room for the full strap of the bag. Double it and just let it hang out. I think that is the best thing that you can do for your Constance long term. A tube or a 10 with gold hardware. This is a tough one. I don't think you can go wrong with either one, but I would say if I was putting together the perfect bag, I would go a tube with gold hardware and a 10 with palladium. Just because a tube tends to be a little bit more warm toned, so it looks more consistent and cohesive with gold finish, and then a 10 because it's a little bit cooler might look better with palladium. But honestly, I don't think there's a wrong answer. Go for whichever you prefer, but I would say a tube with gold and a 10 with palladium. What's next on your wish list since you got your two bags? Great question. The next piece that I can think of that I would love to add to my collection would be a piece in suede, preferably a Birkin or Kelly, but I could see myself picking up even a Kelly pochette in suede. Obviously, it all depends on which piece I find first. But believe it or not, I almost got a suede Birkin at the same time I bought my Constance. Because as I was opening the Constance and playing around with it, we were talking with the incredible person that I shop with at Hermes. And they asked me what's the next piece on my wish list. And of course, I responded something in suede. And guess what they said? They said, let me go and see what we have in the bag because I have a feeling we might have something in suede. And they came back saying that they have a Birkin 25 in suede available in the new grizzly finish, which basically means that the body of the bag is made of suede and then the handles and the flap are made of Swift, which if it was in a larger size, I would have taken in a heartbeat, but a Birkin 25 is not really my size and it wouldn't be in a Kelly either. I would prefer something in the 32 or 35 range. So fingers crossed that they'll get it in at one point. I of course asked to be considered for a larger grizzly Birkin when and if it becomes available. So they said that they will let me know, but that they're not sure if it's going to be coming in a size larger than 30. So of course you guys will be first to know, but fingers crossed that I'll find something in suede at one point. My friends, these are all the questions that we had time for today. I really hope you enjoyed it. And don't worry, I have all of your questions saved. So if you'd like to do a part 2 or a part 3, just give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so I know that that is something I should work on. And if you have any response, something that you think I missed or you would add, or maybe you have another question that you'd like to add onto the list, please do let me know in the comment section. It is of course open for you as always, but for now, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here and I hope to see you back here with a new video really soon. But for now, bye.